What up, gamers? Fencer here, and welcome to my reaction to Star Wars Zero Company official announced trailers. So, I first heard about this game being announced a few days ago, where they said that it was going to be a turn based tactics game. And when I first heard that, the first thing that came to my mind was XCOM 2 and their Star Wars mods. Because, yeah, if you don't know, XCOM 2 is, I would say, one of the most popular turn based tactics game, and it does have a lot of Star Wars mods where you can even convert the enemies into Star Wars enemies. So from all the aliens they have there, they can become stormtroopers, and you can even have some Sith lords, even have some replacers for the bosses to become more in line of Star Wars characters. But yeah, like, if what I'm seeing here, like hopefully what I see with Zero Company, I do hope that is just XCOM 2 but with Star Wars. So yeah, I'm very much excited, man. This might be the next big game that I play on this channel. So, yeah, here we go. I hope that is the case. So, I am watching this from Star Wars Celebration Live 2025 Day 2. I'll be watching it from their live stream here, where they first talk about it during their panel dedicated to this game. So, here we go. Bit Reactor Developer Panel featuring Respawn Entertainment and Lucasfilm. Yeah, interesting to see that Respawn is here. They worked on Titanfall, Apex Legends, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, and its sequel too. Like, yeah, I guess it makes sense they work on Star Wars, but I never thought about a turn-based tactics game, which is really interesting. Here we go. Turn-based tactics game. I'm excited, man. XCOM 2 is my favorite, one of my favorite games of all time. And I hope it's very similar where you can make your own character and they can like have permadeath. I hope that is the case, man. I've been itching to try out like a new XCOM like game. Lucasfilm Games. I feel like the only one that is like that is Phoenix Point, but I haven't tried that yet. We got a cinematic trailer here. Yeah, if it's just cinematic, I just hope that maybe the panel itself will talk about the game. That's why I'm watching the Star Wars Celebration version, because this might just be a cinematic only. Oh, dude, look at the board. Is that the commander? The commander, dude. And we get to fight droids, possibly. So, like, when does this take place? Oh, the Clone War era? I guess so. If that's the case, I do love that era a lot, man. The Clone Wars. So who are these guys? I saw a clone. So we're not gonna play as clones. Like I guess that'll be like one part of it, and I guess some Jedi too. Okay. And the Mandalorian, dude. I want to make myself in this game. If there is like character customization, I'm gonna be a Mandalorian. Oh my gosh. So it looks like maybe up to 5 at the very least. Dude, I'm gonna be a Mandalorian, man. Because Mandalorians are my favorite thing about. Oh, here we go, gameplay about Star Wars. Here we go. Ooh. XCOM. You got the droids. Oh my gosh, dude, this is basically XCOM gameplay, but it's got that Mario plus Rabbit Sparks of Hope like controls. So what are we looking at? We're looking at a at a Word document. Was that the script? What the heck? No Switch? No Switch 2? That's fine. I mainly play on PC, and I imagine that's where the mods are gonna be at. Okay. Let's hear
Give
about the
a
game,
little round
man.
of applause, everyone. This is Readers Behind the Game.
All right, tell us
So
about the
let's
game.
go down the line and everyone introduce
Or I
yourselves.
guess everyone's gonna
Okay, Greg.
introduce themselves.
Thanks, Lucy. Before we get started, we have a whole team home working on the game. You think you guys could give them a little shout out, give them a little love? Awesome.
Hooray!
All right, thanks everybody.
All right, go introduce
I'm
yourselves.
Greg
I
Hirsch.
wanna
I'm the
hear
game
more about the
researcher
game.
for BitReactor. I originally pitched this game to Lucasfilm, and my job is to oversee the entire
What was the
development of
pitch?
the company. I'm
Just
Aaron
imagine
Sanders,
the XCOM 2 mods with Star Wars,
I lead the team responsible for the game's
but an
story,
actual official game. That's the
characters,
pitch.
and narrative gameplay systems. This is my third Star Wars project following Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Oh, nice.
Hi, I'm Jim Vasella, a senior producer at Respawn, helping with the full production of the game. I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. I'm the type of person who camped out for the prequels in high school.
I just want to make sure the volume's all the way up.
As a producer, I've been making strategy games for over 20 years.
Yeah, yes, it is.
So this was a dream project for me when I heard about it, and I jumped at the opportunity to join.
It does sound like a dream project in a way. If you're like the modder in XCOM 2,
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey.
because you would see those like Star Wars mod list,
I work on anything
and those are
Star
pretty
Wars
big.
that has a story across our franchise, so not
I
just
never got to try it myself,
books, comics, some animation,
but now I want to try it now, man. Maybe in preparation for this game.
But luckily that job is pretty easy when I'm working with big fans like Greg, Jim, and Aaron.
And hey, everybody, I'm Orion Kellogg, executive producer with the Lucasfilm Games team, and I look after many of the Star Wars projects that we have in development. For me, Star Wars is all about meaningful choice. So it's about
Choice.
a strategy game, right? Right on. And we're really excited.
Is there some foreshadowing that, you know, we gotta make some careful choices so that we don't permadeath our team? I hope it's not like Chimera Squad. I never played it, but I think in that game, from my understanding of the mechanics, is that it's kind of like a hero shooter where you have your own heroes and special abilities unique to them, and their own story and backstory. I prefer the custom character.
Well, I mean, let's get things started with, I think, the big burning question that everyone wants to know the answer to. Greg, just what exactly is Zero Company, and how did this game come to be?
XCOM 2,
Thanks, Lucy.
but with Star Wars mods.
Zero Company is a single-player turn-based tactics game with an original story set during the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, yes, I love that era.
Back in 2021, and we had this idea that turn-based tactics games are a genre that just has so much room to improve on with like innovation,
I agree.
and storytelling and immersion, and really could reach more fans than people really think. So we really went in that direction with it. That's how we've really been focused for the past several years. While that was working, when I started,
I wonder if they played XCOM 2 mods with the Star Wars mods to get inspiration, or that's how like they thought about it.
Wait, how do you get your number?
Just looked it up. I don't know.
Just casually getting a call
Like,
from Vincent
phone books
Bella.
don't exist anymore, right? Anyway, so now if you don't recognize that name, Vince is the head of Respawn Entertainment.
Yeah, Vincent Pella.
Some of the biggest
He
games
made
in the industry, like
the original Call of Duty,
franchise. Vince
and then
was
eventually
actually
left
thoughts on creating
Infinity
a Star
Ward
Wars game.
to make Respawn.
I've been a Star Wars fan since I saw A New Hope in the theaters when I was 4 years old. So I think you can all imagine like my reaction, right? Lots of excitement followed by lots of anxiety. So we talked about the possibilities of developing a tactics game with the most beloved, most storied franchises in the world.
I thought he was about to say
It's a
characters.
tough combination, honestly, one that I couldn't believe had never.
I feel like if you said that, that means that
So now we
it would be like a hero shooter where they have their own set characters, and
really closely with Respawn.
I'd rather not do that, in my opinion.
Leverage their history of making incredible games to make this amazing new Star Wars game. And while we're at it, I can't say enough about our partners here. Like, they've been absolutely the best and super supportive of us. So couldn't ask for a better group.
Well, right back at you, Greg.
All right, tell us about the gameplay.
Like I said before, Lucasfilm Games, we're big strategy game fans here, and it really was about time, right? And with BitReactor, we have a strategy veteran like Greg and a lot of the other team members at BitReactor. They know what they're doing there. They have a lot of other extremely bright, talented
Okay. I
And
mean, yeah, I feel like
from
for
all
Respawn, I
the
feel
reports
confident
that
with
I
their
heard, it was
team.
true. And so
I
I
don't
think
think
it's
they ever
important
made
that
a
we
bad
know they're
game
going to make a
so
great
far, in my
survival game.
opinion.
We know they're going to make a great
I
strategy
think they've
game,
all
and
been
every
successful
together they really innovate
from
on
what
the
I've
genre.
seen.
So, Greg, we couldn't be happier to have you in Bit Reactor, and we couldn't be happier to have Star Wars Zero Company.
There we
I
go.
love this love. This is
Let's talk
So
about it,
so.
much
please.
love.
This is
It's
so.
all about love.
Well, the trailer has such a different tone and vibe from what we've seen from more modern, recent Star Wars games. Greg, can you talk a little bit
I
about
like
the
it. It
vision?
feels more like a military
Sure.
type thing.
When we set out to develop Zero Company, we wanted to create an experience where the deep history of Star Wars and their galaxy is married with the engaging gameplay of turn-based tactics of the turn-based tactics genre. In that process, we established four design pillars that we hold ourselves to every day. The first is start with Star Wars. It sounds simple, but
Hmm.
what that really
A good
means
place to
is
start
we stay
for a
true to the
Star Wars game.
franchise. Part of that pillar is working with people that know Star Wars inside and out. So not only does that mean working with Lucasfilm Games, but also people like Aaron, who works at BitReactor now. But Aaron used to work at Respawn, where he helped develop two of the most successful Star Wars games ever made in the Jedi series.
Thanks. Yeah, when I joined the project, Greg and the team had already chosen the Clone Wars era, which is just a fantastic setting for a turn-based tactical game.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
I think it's worth noting that we're also working
Because
alongside
like
or
I
we
feel
have
like
the
just the
award-winning
clones themselves
composer
will be an easy way
from the
to
Jedi series
have soldiers.
on our music and soundtrack. And
Like if
Dory's
you
going
want
to
to use
bring a
them,
new cinematic feel to the tactics
and maybe you
genre
won't feel
and,
bad
of course,
if you
deliver a
lose
more
them.
authentic Star Wars sound.
So the second pillar that we really follow is meaningful choices, and that's where thoughtful decisions impact the gameplay.
You're going to play as Hawks, who's a customizable hero who leads Zero Company. The
Oh,
decisions you make, what jobs you
customizable
take,
hero.
who to assign to your squads, and how you fight on the battlefield will have pivotal consequences in every playthrough of the game.
And the third, and this is one that's very close to me, is we want the game to be cinematic and approachable. Something that I've been kind of championing for a long time in my
So we
career.
do have like a set
This is where
character. We
the
play as
genre, I think, can
Hawks.
really be great. The thing we try to live by is the depth of the game shouldn't really cost you elegance in how the game is presented, right? Like depth and immersion, they're not mutually exclusive things. As players, you should expect both and you should get them. So, you can see in the screenshot, we move the camera around depending on where the gameplay moment is and what we want you to feel as a player. Um, so yeah, and when we first started talking about this game, I think the very first one of the very first Zoom calls we had with Orion, I was describing, how we really wanted to change this perspective, and I described it to him, and he summed it up. So I'm kind of borrowing from him. He said that depth shouldn't cost you elegance, and it's really something that's stuck with me. And all these years later, something that we really, really try to follow.
We just want great games.
Yeah, man.
I agree. Just make great
Brilliant.
games. That's all you need for video
The
games.
fourth is strategy and combat, and what that really means is think high stakes battles with deep gameplay choices where we're delivering on both the tactical and the strategic layers as one cohesive experience. It's not just something that players experience in two
I
separate
feel like the droids were a
pathways.
good
It's
choice
woven
for
together
enemies, like
through
for
the
the Clone War
gameplay
era,
along with the
to choose
narrative.
that
So
as the
all this
enemies.
together, and
Because you can have like
for
different
me,
shapes and
is
sizes of the
the
droids. Like
it results in a core loop of
those like
gameplay
what
that has got
the battle droids that
fluidity
you
and
can get,
decision making,
the super
coupled with
ones
an
with the
amazing
arm cannons.
original Star Wars story.
Amazing. And I mean, all of this is
And then
so
you also have
important because getting
those
that Star
walkers
Wars
too, right?
feeling is so important to get right. Orion, I'm
Of
really
like the
interested
clone
to hear
side.
your thoughts. Like, what were you thinking? What
I
was your
assume you
thoughts
don't
in your
really
head
play
when
as
you
like
saw the pitch for Zero
the clones
Company?
that much. Like it's a
Was it
part
an
of it.
email? Was it a PowerPoint presentation?
Because you also play as Jedi's and
Oh, we started
Mandalorians,
on
it
a Zoom,
seems.
like
Maybe
like
some
most
bounty
games these
hunters.
days, right? So we started on a call, and I knew we had Respawn, we had Bit Reactor, and with Respawn, we've been telling stories with them for over a decade. I already talked about that. We were excited. We hope you're excited for another Respawn story, right? And with Bit Reactor, we
Yeah,
knew
just
that
imagine the
if you
story
were
in this game.
fans of the games that they have made,
I
absolutely,
played the
you knew what they
first
were
one
capable
of
of doing,
Star
and
Wars
so I was like,
Jedi,
okay, let's do this. I'm
like Fallen
stoked,
Order.
absolutely
I
stoked.
never played the
That's
second
the
one,
precise term.
but I thought the
And
story was good in the first one.
so, making a strategy game in Star Wars, what do we have
And
to
then,
do?
dude,
What's our
Titanfall 2's
role in this?
campaign,
Let's give them a place where they can make meaningful
a
decisions in the
masterpiece.
galaxy. Let's find a spot where they can make the best game possible, and hopefully we've done that.
I mean, let's dive into the setting because the game is set in the Clone Wars
It's Star
era.
Wars in the Clone
Kelsey,
Wars
Greg,
era.
can you tell me a little bit about why this setting is so perfect for a game like Zero Company?
Definitely. So the Clone Wars are kind of a unique part of our timeline, right? Because when you look at the stories that we tell in the Age of Rebellion or the Age of Resistance, they tend to feature almost exclusively asymmetrical warfare, right? It's like a little
Yeah.
guy going up against insurmountable odds.
Here you
But
can have
the Clone
like those
Wars era
battle
is really
droids,
perfect for Zero Company because it's when we see two relatively evenly matched forces, the Republic and the Separatists, and that backdrop creates so many
and they
interesting
also have like
choices
their
for
own
Iron
unique
and the
forces
team to
too.
set their camera for their story, right? Because we know the conflict is unfolding across
Like
multiple
the
planets
Jedi's and the
across the
battalions
galaxy.
that
There
they
are
have.
multiple different forces and factions, some of which have conflicting allegiances that shift over time. There are, boots on the ground altercations, but there's also smaller strategic initiatives, and it's those kinds of clandestine missions where I think this very intimate and character-focused story that Aaron's team is working on really gets to shine. And that's why I'm so excited, why everyone at Lucasfilm is so excited for Zero Company, because if you've watched the Clone Wars, and I have a feeling some of you in this audience have,
Heck yeah.
um, you
I
know
would say
that we
one
have
of my
never
favorite
shied
cartoons
away
to
from
watch.
showing how complicated that conflict was, all the shades of gray, but I really think Zero Company is going to be one of the first times that players actually get to go hands-on with that, like, the war beneath the war that was mentioned in the
Hmm.
trailer.
Yeah,
That's
we're
curious.
inspired by the political intrigue of Andor, the gritty battlefield perspective of Rogue One, and of course the mythic pulp adventure of the original trilogy. We love how all of those stories respect the intelligence and
It got me
intentions
thinking
of
like
those
I'm
audience
just wondering what
developments.
their
None of the characters in Zero Company are flawless or immune to a fatal case of blaster poisoning. You'll have to lead your team with
hmm.
care and conviction, and at times make difficult decisions with permanent consequences.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what
Well,
that
I'm dying
means.
to hear more.
If he's talking
I
about
am dying
decisions
to
in
hear more
combat
about the
or
story. Aaron, what can you tell us
yeah, in story, like
about the
can
story
you
and who we're going to play as?
Yeah,
play
you'll play
for
as
either
Hawks.
faction, like any
They're a
faction?
disgraced former Republic officer who now leads Zero Company. They're an elite outfit for hire specializing in strategic investigations and high risk tactical missions. The operators under Hawks' command are a ragtag band of hero, outlaws, and exiles from all walks of life.
Oh,
You'll have to
heroes.
unite them against an emerging threat that, if left unchecked, will spread across the galaxy and consume
Okay.
everything in its path.
I mean, I still like the game. I just wish it's like
Set
XCOM
against
where you
the
can make your
epic
own character.
backdrop of the Clone Wars, you must lead Zero Company in a shadow war against a corrupting force that no conventional army is equipped to counter.
Yeah, if there's one thing we know from Star Wars, it's that those who seek power and control will also seek opportunities and opportunistic allies. And the face that they wear when we first meet them might look very different from the face that they wear by the end of the story. And it's those kinds of questions, like the big questions: who are my true allies? Who are my true adversaries? What do my adversaries actually want? That we
Yeah, I'm kind of curious
as
about the
players in
factions and
Zero
the people
Company
that
are
you
going to
work
be
with in the
chasing down
story.
answers to together.
It makes me think you can
But
be for the
Hawks can't find
Republic
those
or
answers
the
alone, and that's where
Separatists.
your team comes in. You'll build your squad from a mix of custom characters you create and
Ooh.
original Star Wars characters authored for the game, and all of
Oh,
them
I
know the
love
story
that.
evolves as you play through the game.
Ooh, well, it sounds like we're going to have plenty of options
Like
to
pre-made
build
characters plus
our own
custom
version of Zero
characters.
Company. We got a little bit of a tease of
I
some
also
of the
like
members of
that.
the squad.
Like
Greg and Kelsey, maybe tell us
I
about
also try to
them.
do that too in
Yeah.
XCOM 2, where
So this is Trick,
I try
a
to
hunter
remake some
clone
characters that
soldier
are
whose
like
laconic
existing
wit masks a haunted heart.
with a mix
Trick's
of like my
family,
own
Hawks,
original
said they both
characters.
served in the Republic military and was injured in the same disaster that cost Hawks their career.
Yeah, it's not a Clone Wars era story without a clone character's perspective. And as our celebration audience knows, the clones might all look alike, but each one has their own personality. And I think
Yeah,
we're going to have a lot of
I
fun
thought
doing
maybe
that with Trick because,
if
as
we were gonna
Aaron
play as like
alluded to earlier,
you know
members of Zero
for the
Company
Republic, I thought
can be
maybe
drawn from all
the
around the
clones would
galaxy
serve
and
as
have
like a cannon
influence
fodder.
across battle
That's why I
lines.
said
So one
that it won't
particularly
feel that
exemplary
bad, but
member is
no, they really
Clone
want to make
Bra.
it feel more,
He is an Umbaran
I guess, like
sharpshooter who
XCOM
still
2,
hasn't been
where
given the
each
Republic
character feels
training in
unique.
his homeworld, but that shadowy adversary that we alluded to earlier is going to be such an intimidating threat that we'll actually see a Republic clone trooper like Trick and a Separatist Umbaran soldier like Lugo teaming up on the same side.
But if
Yeah, so
left
many different
unchecked,
names
those
they're
decisions
saying.
in the
I'm guessing
squad could
they're all
escalate
playable
into conflict
characters.
or worse. Next up, we've got Cly Calervo. They're an
Hey,
infamous Mandalorian gunslinger and one of the
heck yeah.
last surviving members of the ancient clan Verminoth. She joined Zero Company because she sees him as the most direct route to completing a very personal vendetta.
I love that design. I want to join Clan Verminoth. And something tells me that if this audience is excited for a Mandalorian, you might be excited for a Jedi too.
We got Jedi's.
So in this case, it's our Padawan Telria. Telria is on a
Padawan.
quest to finish her fallen Jedi Master's final mission. Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Tell's character design was actually one of the first pieces of character concept art that we saw from Star Wars Zero Company, and she
Mm.
hasn't really changed very much since that very first submission. Of course, I love all Star Wars aliens equally, but why a Tognath for Tell?
Why not Tognath, Kelsey? I don't know. It's always fun to see a different alien species as a Jedi and explore their unique perspective on the Force.
Awesome. Yeah, my one of my roles at Lucasfilm is working on our lore and
Yeah,
continuity
I don't
team.
recognize the
So
alien
I'm always
species. I thought
excited
maybe
to
at
see a
first it was
character
kind of like
like
Plo
Tell because
Koon.
if you're familiar with the species of Tognath, really the most known Tognath character that we have from the brand is Two Tubes from Rogue One and from Andor. Yeah, woo, Two
I don't
Tubes.
remember that character.
But obviously, like he and his brother represent a very particular hardline perspective on the galaxy because they're part of Saw's partisans. And so I love to see a character like Tell, right, who was raised by the Jedi, who probably has a very different perspective on the galaxy. I mean, spoiler
So what is this,
alert,
like a
yes.
defect?
Because one of
Like
my favorite things is getting to remember that in Star Wars, it's not just the humans who are the
like
characters; it's the
they left?
aliens as well.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that, man.
That's pretty cool.
He
Because
also has two
I feel like
lightsabers.
when like Andor, I think is a great
Notice
show.
that.
I think they need more
So these are
alien
four of the
characters.
operators you can recruit into Zero Company
Even like in the
Oklahoma.
crowds, you mainly
We'll
just
have
see
more to
humans.
reveal
I
as
feel like
time
there's not
goes.
enough like alien
But you're always free to create, recruit,
in
and
general.
deploy
Not a
full
lot of
squad
aliens.
entirely custom heroes if you want to.
Ooh, well, I mean, Hawks in the trailer says.
I need to hear that again. Hold on. I just want to hear that again.
Voice, I'm sorry.
He said about custom characters or whatever.
Says.
Of entirely custom time goes on, but you're always free to create, recruit, and deploy a full squad of entirely custom heroes if you want to.
Oh heck yeah!
Well, I mean,
Oh, I'm excited for this
says,
game.
and I'm gonna murder
Gonna
this
make my
voice,
own
I'm sorry.
characters.
They're professionals.
Imagine making my
Setting aside
own,
their differences to take on the impossible. I'm
making
not
my own
even
battalion. Like
realistic.
have a Jedi and a Padawan
But that to me
and a bunch of
sounds
clones.
like maybe they're not the best of friends.
You are exactly right, Lucy. Not
I'm
everyone
down
in
for this
Zero
game
Company
now.
sees eye to eye, but the more they work together and face adversity, the deeper their bonds grow and the stronger your team becomes. You'll see that reflected across both story and gameplay.
Well, you mentioned gameplay there, but before we dive
Yes, gameplay.
a little bit
Let's see some
deeper into
gameplay.
that, I do
I'm sure
find
it's
this
gonna take
intriguing
notes
that
from
Aaron mentioned a
XCOM
couple times.
from the looks of it.
Did he say customization in a Star Wars game?
He definitely did. So you can personalize the appearance and voice and class of Hawks. So as you can
Ooh,
see,
he said
it is
in
a
class.
hallmark feature from the best tactics games, and we're ecstatic to see what Star Wars fans make with it. You can play as any combination of Hawks that you want, and it's just
I feel like for me, I would make Hawks their own
so we're
character
providing players with this deep
because I
customization
just don't want to be
service
called
and
Hawks. I'd
customization
rather make
system
my own custom character and
that
make
extends
myself
to
there.
individual characters you can create and recruit in Zero Company as well. So you'll choose from a variety of archetypes, select their species, range of authentic Star Wars options like custom astromechs, Rhodians, humans,
What?
and fully
Custom
customize
astromechs?
their appearance and outfits. You can even
Man,
rename them to your liking.
What
So,
if I wanted
yes.
to go all
Fancier, custom
astromech?
character fancier.
well,
D Squad.
you can actually do that.
Wait, what?
Yes,
Wait, can I hear that again?
Can
astromech.
well,
D Squad.
you can actually
I don't know what he said.
rename them to your liking.
What
So,
if I wanted to go all astromech?
well,
D Squad.
Oh,
you can actually do that.
Yes.
so you can have a whole team of R2D2s.
I love that murderer's row of astromechs. And
So
I
is it
also
all
love
the way
what
up
you were
to
saying about
6
customization, Greg,
soldiers
because
per
we had
battle?
so many conversations during
Just from
production
this?
about how, as fans of this genre, you really want to feel like, well, these are my characters. This is my Zero Company, and the choices that I
They,
make in
they're
game
really
might
speaking my
have
language.
a different playthrough from the game playthrough that you're going to have because of your choices. But at the same time, as Star Wars fans, we're always kind of wondering, like, well, how does this impact the larger story? Do my choices really matter?
I'm sure it
And I
doesn't,
think
but like,
you and the team at
I just
BitReactor
want to
have
role
done such a
play
good job at really threading that
with my
needle
own
so that every player
custom
is
made
going to
characters and
understand
stuff in
how
Star
their
Wars.
Hawks and their Zero
I don't
Company
mind if it's like not
impact the
canon or
larger Star
something.
Wars
It's just
timeline.
an
Yeah,
amazing
for sure. We can tell they are really happy with being able
like
to customize
I
their
guess
character,
thing. I don't know what to
customize their
say
squad.
about that.
We know at Lucasfilm Games that you've been wanting to
Oh,
do
his
that,
watch
and
is
we're really happy
flashing
to
at me.
step into the galaxy with your team. And we're also really happy to see how you're going to combine your creations with our creations and the authored characters. not only is it going to impact the story, but it's also going to impact the gameplay. Yes, there are ramifications for rolling deep with Astromechs, but I think impacting gameplay, pretty awesome too.
I mean, let's jump into talking about gameplay. Greg, what can you tell us about what we'll be doing when we're playing as Hawks in the game?
So as Aaron mentioned, this is a story about an emerging new threat, and Zero Company will have to do to
Yeah,
stop
what is
it.
the threat if we're not fighting
Using your
the
best
Separatists
squad for
or
each mission
Republic?
is key because the stakes are just so high.
I mean, so high, in fact, that even permadeath and the limited ability to save your game are available on certain difficulty settings. Now, that
Oh
being
wow.
said, if you
So
are
permadeath is
first and
not
foremost a Star Wars
on
fan
all
and
difficulties.
you are maybe a newcomer to the strategy genre or the tactics genre, we'll have difficulty settings so that you can also enjoy the story and get through the game. But no matter what difficulty you choose to play on, you'll have the most fun by creating a versatile strategy and utilizing all the variety of weapons and abilities and more to be successful.
So that means my tail can live forever, right?
The Clone Wars is a dangerous time for some Jedi.
But it looks like, some difficulties they won't
So
have
between
permadeath,
adventuring
so you
across the
can definitely
galaxy to embark
save
on
your
these
own
missions,
if you
you'll
want.
return to Zero Company's base of operations, a place we call the Den,
The
which is
den.
located on the Rank of Freen, which you may remember from Rogue One.
I don't remember. It's been
Yeah,
a while
and
since I
here you'll
watched
be able
Rogue
to
One.
socialize and catch up with your team as well as recruit, customize, and outfit
Yes.
all those new operators. And throughout the game, you'll be able to upgrade this space to really fit the needs of your playstyle for Zero Company. The Den also has this incredible galaxy map where you'll get to choose what strategic tasks and tactical missions to go on next. Players are going to always balance risk and reward to stay ahead of their adversaries and gaining a leg up in the next fight. As you all well know, the galaxy is always shifting and changing as the Clone Wars progresses, and so you as a player will have to be adapting your strategy as well.
Well, Orion, can you elaborate a little bit on how this game fits into the overall Star Wars galaxy?
Well,
Is
yeah,
it
like I said
a big part of it or
before,
what?
our job at Lucasfilm was to give Bitreactor this huge
Or is
playground
it
to
canon?
play in. And, as Kelsey was talking, the Clone Wars, huge campaign, so many things going on, really an infinite platform for all the stories the player can wrap their arms around. So in the Den, when you're interacting with the galaxy map, on scale alone, you're dealing with the biggest and most immersive map we've ever put out in a game. So while it's early in development,
Ooh.
we did want to give you a sneak peek at the place where you're going to see how your choices impact the galaxy, and we think that doing
I
it
see
in a
like
big
blues and
time frame
reds.
with this squad is going to really stand out and make Zero
Are like
Company
the red
really
areas
special.
like
You
unlocked
mentioned it,
areas?
Orion, and I mean, this is going to provide us some exciting innovation opportunity for the genre with
You can see it like
how you can
requires 4
influence
units.
your journey through the story. And alongside interacting with the map at this
There's
broader
even a
level,
timer, like
a
2
selection of these
timer.
planets will also be viable for the tactical missions you go on, allowing players to deep dive into richly detailed, authentic Star Wars battle locations, both new and familiar. And Orion, say, might be infiltrating a separatist base on one planet, while Kelsey might be raiding a pirate outpost on another. And these are a few
Hmm.
examples of the types of missions and locations you have to go on throughout the Star Wars journey.
Jim, I think in one of the first in-person conversations we
I
ever
don't know if that
had,
means
which was
that it's going to be
when
like
we were in
the
a restaurant
the
in San
covert
Francisco for
infiltration. If
GDC.
He was
I
wearing
don't know
a
if I understand that correctly, where you can,
Yes, I believe some
or I
Chipino
guess like
was
Long
eating
War the
at the
Chosen
time.
in XCOM too,
But you mentioned how, like, as a fan and a
where you can
producer,
just
you
like
were
deploy
so
them there
excited,
and then
like,
go to another
geeked
place
out
and
about
deploy another
translating
squad to a
our
different
very
place.
expansive galaxy map into this really cool, immersive, and
Or
interactive
maybe it's just talking about
experience.
like
Well, first of all, I just think you're all going
where
to
to
have
put
so
different
much fun,
people at.
like, going through the interactive map, seeing all the planets that you recognize. But that level of fidelity also means that you're going to get to have some really fun gameplay on planets that you might recognize from some of our other storytelling. So,
Dude, this really
Greg
makes me
mentioned
want to
earlier
play
that the Den is
XCOM
located
2
on the Rank
again.
of Freen from Rogue
Like I've been
One.
wanting to play it
You might
again.
have heard it
It's just when it
shouted
comes to
out in
me
a
like doing a
certain
mod list, it
episode of
takes me
Andor Season
forever
2, if you happen to be in that panel
to like
earlier
even get one
today.
done. Sometimes I would even restart.
And then I'm excited to confirm that the planet that you saw the
So wait,
heroes
what?
disembarking on
Did she
in
say
the
something there when
trailer is
people
Sam
clap?
Elliott, shouted out in a certain episode of Andor Season 2, if you happen to be in
Oh,
heard it shouted out in a certain episode of Andor Season 2,
okay.
if
I'm
you
guessing
happen
there's
to
a
be in
place
that
in
panel
Andor
earlier
season 2
today.
that's going to be in here.
And then I'm excited to confirm that the planet that you saw the heroes disembarking on at the end of that trailer is Saralonis. So Saralonis was originally developed for the Clone Wars and then first seen on screen for the first time in Bad Batch Season 2. And
Mm.
you'll get to go to some other,
I never got to
cool
finish
deep cut
season
Easter
2.
egg type planets as well. Snowy Bandor from Solo, as well as a newer planet, Mapuzo from the Disney Plus Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
And more.
Wow, so they're getting a lot of
So many more.
Is that a Nexus?
like environments from the
Looks
different
like
shows
it.
and movies.
Wink. You teases. You absolute teases. Jim, earlier you mentioned
What's
that you
he's?
could social tease
Nexus?
series.
And more.
Is
So
that,
many more.
Is that a Nexus?
It
An
looks
axis?
like it. Wink. You teases.
I don't know what that
Absolute
means.
teases. Jim, earlier you mentioned that you could socialize with your squad mates. I mean, I'm dying to see the Zero Company group chat, but I really want to know how those social dynamics come into play when you get to the gameplay.
Yeah,
Mm.
sure thing. I mean, every decision matters for you and Zero Company. From the next mission that you choose to go on,
Okay.
but more specifically,
Oh,
what
here we go,
squad
gameplay.
members you choose to send on each one of those missions. An important factor in
Or is
the
this? Yeah, we already
outcomes
saw
of those
this.
choices and their consequences is how the squad members will bond together over time, where you can turn, enemies and rivals into trusted allies.
What?
For example, as Aaron and Kelsey were mentioning earlier, Trick, our clone trooper, and Luco, our Mbaran, don't exactly seem to get along. But
Mm.
if you choose to invest in that partnership by sending them on missions together, they may be able to improve that bond over time, and that could ultimately decide their fate in the game.
Oh
Yeah, this
wow.
is when I was
It
talking
sounds like
about
the bond system
flexibility
in
earlier.
XCOM
This is
2,
really where
but
that
a bit
comes
more
in
story
and
focus.
impacts the gameplay. I think it's the kind of thing these battles forged on the battlefield evolving is the kind of thing that means no two playthroughs are alike, and I think that's going to make everything really special.
Yeah, and additionally, it's really important to emphasize that this bond system applies to both the authored characters, as you saw in the trailer, but also all of the custom characters that you create yourself. So as all of these characters grow more experience as they go on battles together, they're going to unlock new combat synergies, such as, say, teamwork reaction shots. And this has been one of the real treats working with Greg and the team at Bit Reactor, is that they're bringing their expert experience in making strategy games to Star Wars Zero Company, and we've seen this manifest in the gameplay with features like this.
No, couldn't agree more. I mean, pillar number one was start with Star Wars, right? And I think when you plant those seeds early, as the game starts to develop and the abilities and characters start to get fleshed out, you see the Star Wars emerge. So you might be playing a tense mission where one of your characters is about to permanently die, and one of your astromech buddies might roll in and be able to toss them a healing stim, and that's a really
Mm.
Star Wars moment.
Is that the role of
Or
the
you'll be
astromechs?
rolling with
Just be
Kelsey
healers?
will be rolling with Tel, and Tel will be able to use the Force and push somebody out of cover so that a sniper
I do
can
wonder
hit them.
about the custom
And it's those
characters that
kind
we
of
can make. So
moments
can we
that
make other
emerge in
Jedis and
Zero Wave that
Mandalorians?
make it not only
That's what I was
a
hoping
deep
for.
strategic gameplay experience, which is really
I'm just
fun,
curious about the
but
class
also feel
system
like
or
one that could
whatever.
live in Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving hearing you all talk about this game. It sounds like it has definitely been designed with the Star Wars galaxy in mind and all of the fun that unlocks for all of us players. Very excited to get my hands on it. What do you reckon?
Oh heck yeah! Is there a release date? Are they about to announce it?
Do you have any other little reveals or hints you
Release?
want to give this wonderful celebration crowd?
Maybe.
Maybe? You gonna make them work for
I
it?
mean, that's why we're here in Japan, right? Yeah. Yeah, in Star Wars, ships and droids are built to last and almost always bring this strong sense of history and personality with them. And Zero Company, of course, like everyone, needs a ride to get from the den to their missions. So I'm truly excited to say we've created our own new starship for Star Wars Galaxy. This starship is a great example of the approach and care that the team has put into every environment,
Okay.
every detail, every
Is this our
character,
like Avenger
personalities all the way down. So lots of
or
attention
like the
to
Sky
detail.
Ranger?
So we really do view this ship as a
But
character,
yeah,
right?
I'm
More than
definitely
anything.
just seeing like a
So
bunch of like XCOM 2
provide
references. It's
more of
just
a personality
that's my
and
mindset
depth
going into this.
if it's really well in the Star Wars universe with all those iconic ships. So this is the case on.
Yeah, just want to shout out the BitReactor art department quickly because obviously there's always iteration when you're designing
Is
something for
BitReactor
your
a
store,
developer
but
too?
like
Like the
they,
a studio?
woo,
I thought maybe it
arts
was just like
departments
a
everywhere.
those were like the
But I feel like they really
like I guess the journalists
turned the
interviewing
heart
these
of
guys.
Star
It just
Wars
sounds like
design very quickly. And one of my
a
favorite parts of my
journalist
job
thing,
is getting to open up an
like an
email or
outlet, a
a
journalist
newsletter
outlet.
ticket and say like, oh wow, amazing art for me to look at.
It's an awesome experience because like you go from being
I thought it was
fans,
like mainly a
football
Respawn
fans,
game
to then being students
in
for several
collaboration with
years
Lucasfilm
of it
Games.
and really diving deep into it. And you guys make it easy. You guys keep us on track and give us some great information as we're studying the lore and really getting into the Star Wars of it.
And clearly, every ship needs a go-to pilot. Could you give us a little bit of an insight on how you landed on a droid
Well,
to pilot the case on?
while we're at
I
it,
like him.
That's our pilot.
I mean, you're making a ship, right? You may as well make a droid. So,
Can we customize the
so
droid
we
too?
thought about the ship. We were thinking, well, who's going to drive it? So we realized we had an opportunity now to not only just make a ship, but now we can make a droid too. So how often does that happen, right? 4-year-old me was cheering. So we got to create our own ship, and the droid that lives in Star Wars gameplay forever. So we knew the ship had to be versatile to accommodate all the different missions that it could be taking Zero Company on. Of course, we wanted our pilot droid to have a really unique personality too. So
Okay.
after lots of conversations between our team and the teams at Lucasfilm, and just maybe a couple iterations, we came up with the Caisson and its pilot Mevo, who will be joining Zero Company on this journey through the galaxy.
That's M3VO, Mevo.
So cute. Who doesn't love a new droid to fall in love with? Now, we are kind of wrapping up here, folks, but do we have any last words to say from the group?
Sure.
Okay.
If you couldn't tell by now, hopefully you can see how passionate we all are when it comes to Star Wars and Zero Company. We can't wait for players to experience our authentic Star Wars story through every aspect of the game, from choice and consequence to customization, down to the course of tactics and strategy. This game genre in general just blends so nicely with the galaxy, and we really just can't believe nobody's done it before.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's been
I
a
mean,
lot of
people
fun
have done it before
collaborating
in
with teams
XCOM.
at BitReactor, Respawn, and Lucasfilm. I am incredibly proud of the fantastic writers, designers, and cinematic artists on my team, and we hope all of you enjoy playing Zero Company's story as much as we did making it.
Right, and Star Wars at its core, it's all about characters, right? And as we keep coming up with new gameplay scenarios and new stories to tell, there are going to be all sorts of opportunities for surprises that we'll announce in the future. But we can't
Ooh.
wait to hear what you all speculate, who we might run into in this game.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
so
some existing characters are
as
gonna
you can
probably
tell,
appear.
we're just getting started talking about Star Wars Zero Company, and we are excited to share more of what we're
I have a
building
feeling that
when
maybe
we're ready very soon. So
there's got to be a
Star
bounty
Wars
hunter at least
Zero Company
that we
is
know.
releasing
Maybe
into 2026.
dang,
Wow,
what is his name again? Cad
it's
Bane,
coming
probably
close. On PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
coming 2026.
Amazing.
Oh man, I need to prepare for that, man. I need to be ready.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. A new Star Wars turn-based tactics game is launching next year.
Heck yeah.
Believe it! A couple of final things before we go. We are doing giveaways of this wonderful announcement poster here at Celebration. So don't forget to claim one in Hall 7.
Well, yeah, I'm not there. I can't
limited
do that.
availability, So get one before they are gone. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to our wonderful panelists. Give them a big round of applause.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah, thanks,
Yes,
Lucy.
and thank you to everyone out there in the crowd. Appreciate you all.
Thank you,
you all.
everyone.
No, that's it.
How's about we roll that trailer one more time?
Let's roll it.
All right, one more time with the trailer. Oh yeah, I guess I can give my thoughts as this trailer plays out. Yeah, I think it's pretty much what I said. It's just XCOM 2, but with Star Wars. Like if they made these Star Wars mods official, like an official part of the game. But yeah, like I was wondering if they would downgraded graded in a way because it's Star Wars. Like, there's also like that, you know, that normie, maybe kid friendly stuff that they might want to add to it. But no, they went like all the way hardcore in my opinion. I mean, we haven't seen much of the gameplay, so maybe I'm wrong. But it does look like, you can play the way like in any way you want to, which is good. Like you can disable permadeath, um, and stuff, control your difficulty, and also have a mix of like pre-made characters and custom characters, which I do love a lot. Like I said, that's something that I try to do in XCOM 2, where I would have some of the pre-made characters, like I would make them as custom characters, but then have my own like original characters that I've made for myself. But yeah, like this is amazing, man. I think it has everything that I want. They didn't like, I guess babyfied it that I thought they might because it's Star Wars. But no, I feel like this also might be good for hardcore players with some with also being a good introduction to like new players. Really, it's the only thing that I might be a bit skeptical about is the gameplay. You've only seen like a little bit of it. I would need to see the gameplay. You've only seen like mostly cinematics. Let's go and see like the graphics of the game too. I mean, yeah, it looks like XCOM 2 actually. Like I guess maybe better at least than all these skills. Like yeah, to me it kind of, I don't know, it kind of looked like they had the Sparks of Hope type movements and gameplay and aiming maybe.
Get to grab your posters in hall 7. Thank you so
I don't know if I saw any like percentage to miss and stuff.
time for these
Like yeah, can we also just miss on a 99% chance?
Now remember, you
Or is it
are
will
getting
it be like more simplified like in Mario plus Rabbids? I don't know. Anyway, guys, yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much my thoughts on uh yeah, on this game of Star Wars Zero Company. I think definitely I will try it out. I love XCOM 2 a lot. I've been wanting something new out of the game like XCOM 3. Really the only other game that is kind of closely like that I know of is Phoenix Point. I do want to try that out in the future. But dude, like this one here, yeah, this could be my next big XCOM like game that I'll be playing a lot. And hopefully they do have mod support. I do see that's going on PC, so I do hope so. Because yeah, that'll be nice to see, like just modding in general, like maybe increasing the squad size. I'm going to assume like they'll follow something very similarly to XCOM 2. I'm not sure if they made any changes that much. If they're gonna be like XCOM 2. Yeah, I know I'm like comparing XCOM 2 a lot. It's just that is just what this game seems to be like to me. And it feels like a dream come true because I like Star Wars. It's been a while since I really like got into it. Like as of recent, like the last time I really covered Star Wars on this channel, I think it's either like the game, like the Lego Star Wars game, um, or like just talking about the Ahsoka show. I haven't really touched Star Wars in a long while. Just because I started to lose interest in the franchise, but this one really um like rejuvenated my feeling for it. So yeah, when this comes out, man, yeah, I can't wait to make my own characters and also play with their own pre-made characters. I do like that combination of those two. I like those a lot. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is the gameplay. But other than that, like from everything they said from the features and stuff, like it sounds really really good. And yeah, hopefully, if it's at least like XCOM 2, if it's on that level of enjoyment, then I think this game is good for me. But like good enough that I would like purchase probably on day one, which I rarely do nowadays. I would like normally wait for a sale on games. This one might be a day one purchase for me, but I feel like you know I need to see more of the game too. Anyway, guys, yeah, that's pretty much my reaction and thoughts on Star Wars Zero Company, the reveal, the official announced trailer for it, and this whole panel for it. And now I turn it over to you guys. What do you guys think of this game reveal so far? Do you like it or dislike it? Love to hit it. Let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, next time, yeah, maybe I'll do some custom modded playthrough of XCOM 2 using like Star Wars mods. I think that's what I'm kind of like in an itch for right now. So yeah, I think that'll be pretty much it for now, guys. That's game.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good